we're going to deconstruct a pattern of manipulation that is, well, it's notoriously difficult to spot. And you know why? Because at first, it doesn't feel like a threat whatsoever. In fact, it often feels like the exact opposite. That right there, that's the central paradox of love bombing. See, it's not about aggression at all. It's about overwhelming you with this manufactured, perfect form of affection. It's a tactic that cleverly weaponizes something we all need, that fundamental human desire for connection and validation. So think about it. A manipulator doesn't try to just break down your walls. No, it's much smarter than that. They create a story, a narrative so intoxicating that you end up opening the gates yourself. They literally manufacture this instant, powerful bond. And it's all designed for one thing: to completely bypass your critical thinking, your gut instincts, and that natural, slow pace of really getting to know someone. Okay, so to really get this, we're gonna walk through it together in 6 parts. First, we'll look at the perfect trap. Then we'll dive into the manipulator's playbook. After that, we'll break down the 3-stage cycle and explore the psychology behind it all. Then, and this is important, we'll talk about building your defenses. And we'll wrap up with a single most important idea to remember: consistency over intensity. All right, so let's start with the most critical mindset shift you have to make. That initial stage of this whole thing, it's not about building a real connection, not at all. It's about constructing a trap, piece by perfect piece. And what's so wild here is the strategy behind it. I mean, think about it. Every grand gesture, every over-the-top compliment, every single one of those late-night calls that makes you feel like the center of the entire universe, that's not real affection. It's a calculated move to create emotional leverage. The whole point is to build this powerful, positive memory, this perfect, idealized version of the relationship that they can use against you later for control. Okay, let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture, how this all fits into a deliberate strategy. Because this isn't just someone being, a little too keen. No way. This is a recognized tactic from a very well-established playbook. So what are we actually talking about here? Well, here's the formal definition. It's basically a courtship that moves at warp speed. And the key word, the most important word here, is disproportionate. The sheer intensity of it all just doesn't match the amount of time you've actually known this person. And there's a strategic purpose, for sure. It's all about quickly securing your loyalty and making you dependent before you've even had a chance to figure out who they really are. And it's absolutely crucial to get this. This playbook isn't just for romance. Love bombing is a foundational tactic in what people often call dark psychology. Yeah, it's heavily associated with individuals who have narcissistic traits, but you see the exact same pattern, overwhelming a target with positive reinforcement in other high-control situations. Think about cults trying to recruit new members, or even in some professional settings where they want to lock in unwavering loyalty. So the takeaway here is huge. We have to completely shift our perspective. We're not looking at some overly enthusiastic partner who just, fell head over heels. What we're actually observing is a strategically motivated person setting the stage. That dazzling, perfect beginning. That's not the relationship. It's just the setup for the abusive cycle that's meant to come next. Okay, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's break down the mechanics of how this whole pattern unfolds, and you'll see it almost always follows a predictable 3-stage cycle of control. So first up, you have the idealization phase. This is the love bombing. The manipulator becomes a mirror, rapidly reflecting back your deepest hopes, your dreams, even your insecurities. They literally present themselves as the missing piece of the puzzle you've always been looking for, and that creates this incredibly powerful soulmate illusion. I mean, your brain gets flooded with dopamine and oxytocin. It makes the connection feel so real, so addictive. And right there, that's exactly when your boundaries start to just dissolve. Then, once you are all in, once you're fully invested, boom, the pivot to devaluation. And the shift it's just jarring. All that constant affection is suddenly abruptly replaced with coldness. The person who just yesterday could do no wrong in their eyes is now being nitpicked with subtle little criticisms. Your perfect soulmate becomes this distant, dismissive stranger, and it happens so fast it literally feels like emotional whiplash. And look, this isn't just random cruelty, it's pure strategy. This is where a really powerful psychological principle called intermittent reinforcement kicks in. See, by giving you that intense high of the idealization phase and then just snatching it away, the manipulator makes you desperate to get that feeling back. Your entire focus shifts to winning back their approval, to recapturing that lost adoration. And right there, in that desperation, that's where they lock in control. So why is this cycle so effective? And why is it so incredibly hard to escape? Let's dive into the psychology behind it. We really need to understand the motivations on both sides of this dynamic. Okay, so for the manipulator, especially someone with narcissistic traits, the main motive is to get something called narcissistic supply. What is that? It's basically a constant, unending need for attention and control to prop up a really fragile sense of self. During that idealization phase, they're not really seeing you. They're just projecting this image of perfection onto you so they can feel special themselves. Then the devaluation happens when you, inevitably, fail to live up to that impossible standard. That's when they punish you to reestablish their dominance. Now, let's flip this around and look at it from the other side. For the person on the receiving end, the experience is just intense internal conflict. Your mind is trying desperately to reconcile two completely different people, the dream partner from the beginning and the cold, critical person who's in front of you now. And this, as you can imagine, creates a state of just deep, profound confusion.
And this conflict actually has a name. It's called cognitive dissonance. It's that awful mental discomfort you feel when you're holding two opposing beliefs at the same time. And to reduce that discomfort, your brain scrambles for an easier explanation. So what does that look like? Well, often it means minimizing the bad behavior. Oh, they're just stressed out. Or even blaming yourself. What did I do wrong? You end up clinging to the memory of that good phase as proof that the real person is still in there and will come back. And that cognitive bias, that is the very thing that keeps you stuck in the loop. Okay, enough of the analysis. Let's shift to empowerment. Let's talk about how to build up your defenses. And the good news here is that defense isn't about some big confrontation. It's about building a solid foundation of grounded self-awareness. So here are 3 really practical, actionable steps you can take. First, and this is by far the most important one, you control the pace. Intentionally slow things down. Real, genuine intimacy just can't be rushed. Second, practice a little emotional self-regulation. Instead of just getting swept up in the whirlwind, take a step back and just observe. Observe how you actually feel. Do you feel excited or do you feel kind of pressured? Your own feelings are your most reliable guide here. And third, this one is the ultimate test. Set a small, totally reasonable boundary. It could be something as simple as saying, you know what, I can't talk tonight. I just need some time to myself. And here's the key. Pay very close attention to how they react. A genuine, healthy person will respect that. They'll get it. But a manipulator, someone whose goal is control, they'll often react with frustration or maybe some guilt tripping or just sudden coldness. Seriously, the reaction to a simple no will tell you everything you need to know. All right, this brings us to what is truly the single most important takeaway from this entire cycle. If you only remember one thing from all of this, please let it be this core principle. Think about it like this. Healthy, lasting relationships are kind of like a slow-burning fire, right? They provide steady warmth over time. Love bombing, on the other hand, is a firework. It's a spectacular, dazzling, intense burst of light and energy that quickly fades and leaves you in the dark. So the real warning sign isn't the promise of a perfect future. The warning sign is the unnatural speed of the attachment itself. Okay, so let's tie all of this together. The main thing to remember is that the love bombing cycle is a conscious manipulation tactic. It's often used by people with narcissistic traits, and it always starts by creating this intense, addictive emotional high. And it's all designed to do one thing: secure your trust and completely bypass your natural defenses. We've seen exactly how this pattern works, right? First, the idealization phase manufactures dependence by becoming a perfect mirror for your deepest desires. And then, the devaluation phase uses that dependence against you. It uses that intermittent reinforcement to keep you hooked, always fighting, always scrambling to get back to that perfect beginning. But here's the most important part. Awareness is what breaks the loop. Once you understand the mechanics, you're no longer a passive participant in their game. By choosing to value consistency over intensity, by trusting the natural slow pace of a real connection, and by honoring your own boundaries, you turn all of this insight into an impenetrable shield of self-respect. You take back the power that the manipulator was trying to steal from you in the first place.